everyone, my name is Temitope Fakir and you're welcome to a new episode of Mental-ish. If it's your first time here, you're welcome, and if you are returning, thank you for tuning in as well. Today I'm going to be talking about the topic, the subject, values, and your values being your compass through life. The Oxford Dictionary defines values as principles or standard of behavior that you live by. Now, I would like to emphasize more on principles and also include that your values are your code of conduct, like your personal code of conduct. Now, I know we all have, apart from the universal values, we all have personal values. Everyone has them. This quiet and spoken code of conduct that we all live by, which is why you notice that what might be normal for A might be detrimental for B. Not necessarily because it's wrong, but because we were forged by different experiences, different belief systems, different mindsets, which is why it is important that you always stay true to yourself and never ever follow the mass. Now, one thing I've realized is most of the pain or avoidable regrets and hurts that we feel usually occurs at times when we deviate from our values, times when we ignore our values. And then when something goes wrong, you're like, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I knew that wasn't right. Now, your intuition and your conscience, it's not the same as your values. However, yes, they work like hand in hand, side by side, but they're not the same. Your values are your code of conduct, your personal code of conduct through life. Now, let me give this instance. Say, let's take for instance someone who is very broke, someone who has hit rock bottom, and then he decides that no matter whatever happens, he's not going to compromise. And let's say at some point he eventually gives into the urge and just this once he decides to compromise and ignore his values. So let's say he finally gets his immediate needs. Chances are that he's not going to feel at peace with his decision. He's going to feel so much regret, which of course would affect his peace of mind. So it is at this point that a lot of people tend to lose themselves. That point of guilt and the point where you find it hard to forgive yourself because you made a wrong decision. Now, for some people, they decide to take it that, look, okay, whatever happened, like this mistake, I'm going to have it as a reminder never to compromise my values, or as a reminder to always try to stick to my values as much as I can. While for some other persons, they find it very hard to get over this guilt, and then they're like, okay, you know what, I'm here already. I already broke my values, I already broke my belief, like what's the point? And so they just throw caution to the wind and they continue further compromising their values. And now what this does is it affects your beliefs, and then you eventually get to this point where what you once found wrong suddenly becomes acceptable and normal. Now, I'm not saying you would always 100% live by your values, because of course you're human, but as much as you can, try to live by your values, because when you deviate from your values, you tend to put a dent in your principles, a dent in your belief, and then it gets to this point where the line between good and bad becomes blurry. The line between wrong and right becomes blurry. Now, I know the subject of values seems very mundane and it seems like, oh, okay, it's not a big deal, it's not so important. But the truth is, most emotional and mental breakdown that people experience, most times it doesn't just occur out of the blue. Most times it's a little pain here, a little regret here, a little hurt there, and then boom, it finally explodes. And so the whole point of this is for you to try to minimize your regrets as much as you can. Okay, which is why it is important that you have your values laid out before you. I mean, if you've never done this before, you can just pick a pen and a paper and just state your values. I mean, apart from the universal values, your personal values. It could be love, it could be honesty, whatever it is, just list out your values. Because when you do this, when you know your values, when you are in sync with your values, it makes decision making easier for you. And when you make decisions and maybe things don't exactly work out the way you wanted it to work out, you would go to bed saying, okay, at least I did what I thought was right. I did what I believed was right, and I was true to myself. And that in itself is a whole lot of peace and bliss. That's better than going to bed with a worried heart or with a worried mind. Now, I know that life is not all black and white. There are gray areas. But when you live by your values, your strength is built in the process, character is built, resilience is also built for whatever tests life might throw at you. And then you can pull through life knowing that you are being true to yourself. And even if all else feels like you are true to yourself, and that in itself brings its own kind of peace and sanity. So this is the whole point of this channel, to help you attain or maintain your positive mental space, your positive mental attitude. Because I mean, you can only function optimally in life when you are doing very well, like in your head and in your mind. That is the only time you can function optimally. So this is why I thought talking about values would also be a very good idea. And I hope this was helpful to someone out there. I learned from this as well. I hope it was helpful to you as well. So please drop your comments, whatever questions you might have, please. I'd like to see it in the comment box below. And thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, please like this video, very important. Share this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And thank you so much for your support, and I would see you next time when we'll be talking about another interesting topic. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye guys.